Breaking news, Nigerian government drops treason charges against end bad governance protesters. I tell you, they are trying to do damage control, this APC government. Those children, about 67 or 76 of them that were arraigned at the Federal High Court Abuja, and a few of them, I think about 5 or 6 of them, collapsed based on the issue of malnourishment. They were hungry. Inspector General of Police came out to say that collapse was stage managed just to attract public attention. And then the police lawyer came out to say that those people are no children, that they are graduates, they are married, and they have, they are family men. Can you imagine that kind of thing, that they are adults? Now, with Nigerians crying out, the very dark man went into the prison when he was arraigned by the police for wearing police uniform. He was opportune to meet these malnourished children that were arraigned because of end bad governance protests, and had a picture with them indicating that they are children and they are malnourished, meaning that the police was not feeding them well, was punishing them. So with all the public outcry, federal government now, under Tinubu, has now dropped the treason charges against these children and has declared them free, discharged and acquitted. And the Vice President, Shetima, is now planning to do a grand style handover of these children to their families and parents. Can you imagine that kind of thing? I'm sure people will still be reacting, because this government, I don't think they really understand the legality and the illegality of their actions and inactions. Quite unfortunate. So the Federal High Court in Abuja had dismissed the treason charges brought against the #EndBadGovernance movement by the Inspector General of Police. So Justice Obiora Egwato dismissed the charges on Tuesday after they were withdrawn by the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Prince Latif Olasunkanmi Fagbemi son, on behalf of the federal government. Can you imagine? So the Attorney General of the Federation had to withdraw that charges as was made by the federal government against those people. So it was based on that withdrawal, and some other people are saying that Tinubu ordered immediate release of the children, as if he's just knowing now, as if the arrest was not orchestrated via his instruction. Now, wow. So Fagbemi san, represented by the Director of Public Prosecution of the Federation, DPPF, MD Abubakar, had announced during the proceedings the exercise of his powers under Section 174 of the 1999 Constitution to take over the case from the Inspector General of Police. So upon the court granting the request, the Attorney General of Federation then invoked the same section of the Constitution to discontinue the trial of the 150 accused persons. Can you imagine? After arresting them, torturing them for over 60 days, now you are coming to behave as if you are a saint, as if you are now listening to the cry of Nigerians. Oh, God. So with no objections from the various lawyers representing the accused persons, Justice Egwato granted the request and struck out the charges. Although the accused persons were not in court, the judge ordered their immediate release from prison remand. So President Bola Tinubu had on Monday directed the Attorney General Federation to terminate the charges against the accused persons, most of whom are reportedly minors and legally exempted from such trials. Can you imagine? So they are going to tell us now that because President Tinubu issued an instruction for them to release them, and that is why Attorney General Federation had to take over the charge, or rather the case, from the IGP of police and his lawyers. And upon taking over the case, decided to withdraw the case and the charges, thereby instructing the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court to strike out the case, and that has been done now. So with all of this now, they are planning a grand style handover of these children to their parents. And wow, for this government, I'm telling you, after the damage has been done, so what kind of damage control are they trying to do now? Because what they're trying to do, I see, is damage control. It's typically damage control, trying to pretend like he's listening to the cries of Nigerians. But this is just very, 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 very far from alleviating the poverty, the hardship, and the penury that is ravaging the country at this moment. This is very, very far. This is very, very far. And some tribal and religious and party bigots, partisans will now begin to, praise the president. He has done well. He's a father. He will. I will not be surprised to hear all of that. But that will be very, very bad, very, very unfortunate if we create problem and then after we solve it, then we want to take glory for solving a problem that we created. That is how bad it is in the country. The system will just create problem for the people, and then solving it, they start to generate glory for themselves for solving a problem that they shouldn't have even created in the first place. Quite unfortunate. So now, in the comment section, somebody said nonsense government. Exactly. Useless set of leaders. Foolish government of trial and error T-Pain. Because people cried out. Exactly. Because people cried out. And now they're acting like saints. When in the real sense they are not. The government was forced to drop the charges because of the shame and embarrassment it has received by the video in the social media. Of course, I tell you, social media has come to stay. No wonder Tinubu said at the beginning of his campaign that he no longer listen or watch social media because they make him increase his high blood pressure. So to avoid that blood pressure and pain, he doesn't watch it. Social media has come to stay, and that is what they call social media court. The social media court has come to stay. Now, so now that the case has been dropped, I think Shetima is now planning a heavy grand style handover of the children to their parents. Now, for this government, I'm telling you, you created the problem that you shouldn't have created in the first place. You are now trying to tell us that people don't have right to protest. You didn't understand what happened there. You arrested the children. So if they are children, it therefore means that they should have had sponsors. So what did you do? Investigative approach to go and identify their sponsors and arrange their sponsors. Because when you look at those children, they look too small to decide to do what they did. But instead of doing all of that, you held these children for 2 months, malnourished them, poor feeding, poor care, in the prison reprimand, and now you are issuing an instruction to release them like you are a father. You want to let them go and meet their parents. This is very, very bad, very appalling. I'm telling you. From a crop of people that call themselves leaders, that we expect them to know better and understand better, but unfortunately, what they're doing is something different, very, 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 very different from what they are there to do as leaders. There is serious pain. If you look at those children, I tell you that their parents are also malnourished. Their parents must be impoverished, and there's definitely a kind of negative impact on the economy on every family. Already we are having more millions of Nigerians thrown into poverty, more millions of Nigerian children thrown out of school because they are not able to pay. More Nigerians are dying because they can't afford their medical bill and medical care. No food, no drugs, no roads, no light, no security. Everything is just gone, and the government is trying to behave like they are sent here. All right, so thank you for listening. Let's have your comment over what the federal government is doing now, withdrawing charges against these children and, pretending to be sent.